and I have started their recording. Jim?
Okay, thank you, Monica. Hi, everyone. This is Jim Campbell. I am currently CSA Statistics Committee Chairman. Thanks for attending this webinar. We're going to be covering the new user interface for our iLumen-based CAPEX and salary survey programs. And I just want to point out there's going to be quite a lot of content here. So if there are questions, please use the Q&A box, and not the chat box that's at the top of the screen, but the Q&A box that's below it. And we'll be paying attention to those as we go forward. I just want to mention that the host and sponsor for our monthly webinars is Software Toolbox, as a CSA partner member. Software Toolbox helps systems integrators lower their risks on projects that involve software by providing a unique mix of off-the-shelf products and rapid technical support that minimizes the need for custom code and lowers field startup time risk. I would also like to introduce today's presenter, Chris Smith, who works at iLumen. Chris has been with iLumen for just about the past 4 years and has been very involved with the technical development and support of CSA KPICS program and salary survey program. Chris graduated from Georgia Southern University, specifically the College of Business Administration, with 2 Bachelors of Business Administration degrees in accounting and economics. So that gives him a large amount of insight into the business financials that support our programs, as well as his ability to translate that into user interfaces, which you'll see shortly. So what you'll see today is Chris going over those user interfaces from a data entry perspective a bit, as well as report capabilities. For those of you who have used iLumen data entry and reporting in the past, you'll see a much smoother and straightforward way to interact with the website. Furthermore, the summary and detailed reports are cleaner and easier to digest. So I'm pretty excited about seeing or presenting those changes to you guys. For those who are considering joining one or more of the programs, you'll see what CAPEX and salary survey have to offer. So we do only have 30 minutes for this. There's a lot of content to cover, so please hold your questions until the end. Use the chat or the Q&A box, not the chat box. But hopefully we'll have some time in the end where we can do some interactions with questions. So, Chris, it's all yours.
All right, thank you, Jim, and thank you everyone for joining. So I'm excited to show you all the new user interface. Like Jim said, for the users that are familiar with the system and upload, this screen that we're looking at now should be pretty familiar because this is the old login screen. And one of the biggest changes you'll notice from going from the old to the new login screen is previously we had a 3-credential login where you had to type in your company code, username, and password. And now we're going to a 2-credential login. We will only type in your username and your password. There's no need for a company code any longer. So I'm going to go ahead and I have a couple demo users set up. And the first one we're going to do is a CAPEX type user. So as Jim mentioned, there's 2 programs. There's a CAPEX benchmarking program, and then there's also a salary survey program. The CAPEX benchmarking kind of hits the key performance indicators for the CSI industry, whereas a salary survey does exactly what it says. It kind of compares your salary against the industry, the CSI industry. So like I said, the first login we're going to look at is for a CAPEX user. So this is a user that's going to be uploading quarterly data, and then they'll produce the benchmark report that compares their company against other companies. So the first thing, every time you log in the system, there will be an announcement page that kind of just gives you a heads up any upcoming events or deadlines or anything that we want to just communicate to the users. If you do not want to see this, you have the option of unchecking this and clicking close, and you won't see it any longer. And then there's always the option to pull it back up by clicking this icon up here in the top right. If there's ever an announcement that we really want users to notice, we'll reset that do not show again. So if you ever see it again, it's because there's an important announcement that needs to be seen. A couple other things about this login screen is you can log out using this button up here. A new feature that we have not had in the past was you're going to have the ability to manage your profile by clicking this button. And it's very simple. Simply just you can change your email address. phone numbers, name. If you get married, you can change your last names. So it's very simply just manage your own profile. And then while this screen loads, there is a little delay because of the web meeting we're using. But you'll see that there's 5 tabs that immediately load with a company, and as well as the processing status. So you can kind of see when the last time your company was processed. For the existing CAPICS users, your account will remain active with a 3-credential login until you receive a new welcome email. Once you receive that new welcome email in the next day or so, your old account will be deactivated and you'll have to use your new login credentials. We will be, like I said, sending those out in the next day or two. We're going to try to include this webinar in there in case you have any questions. But now that we're loaded, you can see it preloads all the tabs in at the beginning. So once you're loaded, it's a very quick process. But for those users that have already been using the program, it looks very familiar. The tabs itself haven't changed, it's just the look and feel of everything has changed. So, you know, we're just going with a smoother kind of new Web 2.0 look, they call it. But the chart icons still all remain the same, the rating columns remain the same, the dashboards, you have all the different views. And as we're on a limited time, so we can go through we could spend 30 minutes going through this dashboard, but you know, I do want to go through all the different applications. So you can see there's many dashboard views. I encourage everyone to log in if you have an account and look at these. Client data, once again, this is where you come to upload your data. You simply just select a period. It'll ask you, how do you want to, it'll ask you for your trial balance data, and then it'll ask you for your key metrics. So part of the CAPICS program is you upload your trial balance and you upload non-financial data such as number of employees, total backlog, and then those non-financial instruments are used in calculations to benchmark your company against others. So if anyone has any questions about specifically about data upload, I'm more than happy to answer them, but we're not going to go over that today in today's webinar. Once you upload your data, the data comes to us. As you know, iLumen does all the mapping, which is kind of takes your accounts and maps them to our standardized CSIA taxonomy. So everyone's kind of, we take uncomparable data, we map them all to the same standard taxonomy. That way we can compare apples to apples. So if you have 20 cash accounts and they're all mapped to the cash, then we can compare your cash against another company's cash. So it's a way for us to standardize the data and make it comparable. But iLumen takes care of all that, so I just wanted to show you the screen's still available. Not much you'll be doing on here, though. The part that we're all interested in is client reports, and this is where you'll actually run your CAPICS report. And I have a PDF open I'll show everyone. Let's go ahead and just do that. But you just simply click Generate. Once again, if you're an existing user, there used to be thumbnails where you click on the thumbnail and then click Generate. We went to a simplified model where you just simply click Generate. And then once you generate, the report is emailed to you once it's complete. And this is the report. And I'm not going to spend too much time on it, but I do want to show you know, the new users what to expect. So it kind of just gives you a summary of where your company's uploaded data through, and then the peer group. And then it gives you just a quarterly trend where the company, the peer, quartiles, and then the bars are the average of the quartiles. The red line is your actual company. So I'm sorry if I'm flipping through this quick. I know everyone wants to see the data, but we are on time, so I'm just going to kind of cycle through them. But you can see here's the backlog days. This is where we use your trial balance data and your non-financial data that you manually enter, and we use those 2 bits of information to create a calculation that you can benchmark your company against the other CSI companies. And then we just have standard financial ratios as well. We have a sheet that kind of gives your balance sheet and the income statement, and it gives you the real numbers. So your company's real numbers against the industry for the last 2 annual years and the trailing 12 months. And then we also do the same presentation, but we do it on a common size basis, where when we say common size, we mean what percentage of your cost of sales are a percent of revenue, or what percent of operating profit is a percent of revenue. And likewise, in the balance sheet, what percent of accounts receivable are a percent of total assets. So it kind of just common size everything so you see what percentage of your balance sheet and income statement are made up of, what percentage makes up the revenue and total assets. Keep going through. We have, this is a graphical representation of what we just looked at, where you see the 2 annual periods and the trailing 12 months. And then you get a same thing, 2 annual periods, trailing 12 months with a bunch of different metrics, whereas before we were showing balance sheet income statement items. Now we're showing the calculations that go that we pull from those balance sheet and income statement. We have a ranking sheet, or ranks your company out of the peers for the different metrics. And then lastly, we have just a single company trend. So while benchmarking your data against peers is great, using your own data to benchmark against yourself from period to period is also a wonderful tool to use. You can kind of see, track how your backlogs of data have been fluctuating over the different quarters and find out why. There's a story behind every graph, so that's what you're trying to do, is look at the graph and say, okay, where do I want to go and why am I going in the direction I am going in? So great benchmarking tool as well as just using your own data. And then lastly, there's just some definitions in the report. So once again, this is the Capex view. I'm now going to log out and log back in with now we're going to switch to a salary survey view. Once again, the same login screen, no difference here. It's all driven off of the user account you have that we set up for your company. So when you do, if you do decide to participate, you would contact Emily Peterson, and she would, she would get you all set up, and then she'll email us the program you set up for. We'll get your company set up, your users set up. There's no limit to the number of users, and we'll get you those welcome emails out, and then you can log in and start participating in the data. So here's the salary survey. And once again, we have an announcement. The announcements are different for each type of user. I'll just close that screen. Excuse me. You'll notice I only get 2 tabs this time. I have all the same options up here as I had before, but now I only have 2 tabs because with a salary survey, that's all that's important. We're going to go in there, we're going to enter our data. And so for the 2014 salary survey, we're actually collecting data from the calendar year 2013. So it's the 2014 because that's the year we're in, but since the year hasn't wrapped up, the salary information might not be available, so we always collect last year's data, and the report's always pulling a rolling 12 months. So if you enter your data in September, or if a user enters their data in September and you go enter your data in March, you're comparing yourself against a rolling 12 months as people who enter their salary survey. So you can see the salary survey is opened up. Very simple to use. It just scroll through it, and it tells you the position, and then you enter the total salary as well as the base salary. And if you have any help, there's a help link right here that will pop up a PDF. It tells you what's included in the total, what's included in the base. It has also a frequently asked question page. And then you also, if you ever ask, well, what is a service manager? What does their position do? You can hold your mouse over the question mark, and it gives you a description of the position. So it kind of clarifies any kind of questions you would have about the different positions. I believe there's around 30 to 35 different positions in here. You fill out as many as you can. Obviously, you won't have every one of them. You may, but it's not required that you fill out every position, just the positions you have. And then lastly, you enter your average percent increase. Just on average, what's your percent increase in salaries every year, and we benchmark that as well. Once you're done, you can hit save and exit or save and recalculate. In this case, they both do the same thing. If you're worried about losing data, you can hit save and recalculate after every few entries. If you just want to wait till the end, you can hit save and exit. It's up to you. One other thing I want to point out is you'll notice that the prior year is available for comparison if the data was entered. So if you've been participating for multiple years, you will see your last year salary information, but you can only enter the 2013 data. So you can only enter for the most current year. We've already closed off the prior years, and you can see the drop down does not allow you to go back any further. So I'll hit save and exit. Once my report's done, once I'm done entering my data, I simply come over here I go to the 2014 survey, hit generate. The report's emailed to me once it's complete. You can see there are other surveys, other reports here, because this is, if you've been a participant for the last, this is the third year of the program, the salary program. If you've been a participant for all 3 years, we never take your reports away. We don't give access to old reports to new participants, but once you start participating, you'll have a report from that year on, as long as you continue participating. And then the report that you should expect is like this. This is a PDF, but it simply just gives your company, and it gives the average quartile and 2 quartiles in the median. You can see, so this company didn't have a COO. I'll just keep scrolling through it. I know I'm going fast, but just kind of show you the graphs. The graphs don't change. I just want to kind of show you all the different positions there are. And then all the way down to the last graph, the average salary increase. And then when you open the Excel version, this is the PDF. When you open the Excel version, you have the ability to benchmark your company against different regions. And we also define the regions here as well. So if you're interested in knowing how you do in different regions, this is how we block off the regions for the salary survey. Okay. The last thing I just want to point out, I'm not going to log in, but if you decide to participate in both the salary survey and CAPICS program, there is a third type of role we have where you'll get a hybrid of the two. You'll get both the salary survey tabs, and you'll get the CAPICS tab. So that's not a problem if you decide to participate in both. So that was a lot of information we went over very quickly. I wanted to just kind of give you all an overview of the new system, get you all ready for the new welcome emails that will be coming your way. And now we have time for questions too, so this would be a great time to ask any questions about the program or either one of them.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Yeah, please do ask questions. Remember to use the Q&A section. We'll be watching those. So for people who have been involved with CAPICS and salary survey before and have actually utilized the user interface and reports, you can see there's a lot of changes that have happened over the last year. iLUMA has been working really hard to make it more user-friendly and accessible. I'll just briefly mention now, but I'll mention it again later too, that we have another seminar coming up in about a month or so to talk about some specifics of CAPICS parameters. But part of the reason we're doing these seminars and the contents thereof is from feedback that we've done or gathered from past CAPICS participants and ones that are actually current CAPICS participants as well. So the statistics committee has been working real hard to try and make sure that this program keeps improving, both from a usability aspect as well as a data presentation aspect, trying to make it so that people can get the most out of it that's possible. And again, iLUMA has been really good to be able to support those changes in the future, or sorry, in the past. So we got one question coming in. I'll just read it off, Chris. Actually, there's another one coming in too. Right. So one question is, we changed our fiscal year end and so have a short year, causing me not to be able to update. How can we update in a way that's meaningful?
That is a little more tricky for fiscal year end change because all of our data is year to date. So it would probably be better if that user and I just talk offline. It's possible we could definitely convert your data over, but if that user could just email me at csmith@ilumen.com. Once again, csmith@ilumen.com, and we'll get your data converted. But there is a little conversion we have to go through, but we can take care of that.
Yeah. And you know, if there are specific questions like that that require Chris's feedback, direct feedback, and consultation there, and for whatever reason you can't get a hold of him, give me a call or give CSA staff a call or an email, and we'll figure it out. So another question that came in is there a cost associated with participating in these programs? So yes, there is. The CAPEX program is $350 a year. The salary survey is $150 a year. And both of those programs are set up such that as soon as you join in, you can enter your data and then get the reports. So, for example, we debated with the salary survey about whether we should make those reports only accessible on an annual basis. Say everybody puts their data in January, and the reports are available in February. But instead, we decided to make both CAPEX and salary survey accessible at any time. So to Chris's point about salary survey, if you enter your data in March or July or whatever, the results you get are for the past rolling 12 months. So it's not on an annual basis, so it's timely information. So any other questions out there?
Chris, this is Don. I think you mentioned earlier in the presentation that people can have multiple members of their company have logins. And let's say the situation is I have somebody that has a login and they enter the data, and I'm the guy that wants to go on and take a look at the reports. How do I know if the data has been entered?
That is a great question. We have what we have is a data analysis complete email, and it is sent to all the client users. So once your data is fully processed, you will get an email letting you know that the data is ready to review. And that is sent to all client users of the company.
Is there an indication on the report as well? Obviously, there's a question that I prepared.
Yes. Yes. So good question, and let me go back up to the CAPEX report. So on this report summary page, when you generate the report and you come to the second page, it'll immediately tell you if the report's ready for you to use. It'll tell you what your company's uploaded through, and it'll tell you what the peer group is uploaded through. So in this case, the company is ready to go. The other options are if you have less data than the peer group, if you haven't uploaded enough data yet, it'll let you know, hey, please go in there, upload more data, and generate a new report. Or if by chance, because this does rely on participation from other members, say, we have the quarter end coming up March 31st. Say you're the first person to upload, you're very due diligent, you get in there, you upload the first week after the quarter, there's a good chance there won't be enough peer data to compare your company against yet, because we do require at least five companies to have uploaded to show your data. So in that case, we'll say your data is second quarter, however, the peer group's only first quarter, please check back again in a week. And I say a week because we do send upload reminders out to companies too, that if you, after each quarter, we'll send a company saying, hey, please upload your data. So that's why in about a week's time, we should have enough peer data. But just keep checking back, and this summary page will tell you where we're at. Does that answer your question, Don?
Yeah, thanks.
Okay, any other questions coming in through the Q&A window? So Chris, just filling in a little bit of the gap here, you went over some of the reports for CAPEX and for salary survey as well too. The fact that you're transitioning over to this new system, the reports that are going to get generated now, are they going to be emailed out, or is it just an email that's going to alert the people that the reports are ready and they still have to log back in?
Yeah, so the reports will be, right now, there's two ways to trigger an email. We will email you the report if you go in there and manually run it, and you'll get an email once it's ready. And also on the 30th of every month after the quarter ends, we will be sending out notifications saying emails are ready as well. So that will all that's the part of the transition process of the new system. Nothing to do on your end, but we will be sending those emails out. So they're nothing to do on y'all's end though.
Yeah. Okay. Great.
I'm not sure if I answered your question there, Jim, but
yeah, no, that's good. Just trying to see how much more automated the process is than it used to be.
Yep. Okay.
Looks like we've gotten all the questions that we're going to get. We have a few minutes left, but let me just go through the closing, and if anybody wants to pop in another question while I'm doing that, we'll be sure and answer it. So just want to thank everybody for participating. Hopefully this was useful for you to see that the KPICS program is moving forward, trying to address some of the questions and comments that participants have had. Hey, Chris, thanks so much for your time to do this presentation. That was really good and well done in getting it done in a reasonable amount of time, too. We hope these half-hour presentations are more accessible for people. An hour long is a pretty long time to block off, so we're hoping a half an hour is more reasonable. And we'll do it again in a short while. I'll just mention a little bit about that in a bit. But thanks to John Weber and Monica Anderson here at Software Toolbox for hosting this and other CSI webinars. We will be sending out a survey about this webinar, so if you please review that and fill it out. It takes about 30 seconds to complete. We'd appreciate the feedback. Helps us, help Software Toolbox that do their part, but also helps the Statistics Committee understand what you guys are looking for in terms of webinars. So I keep mentioning this additional webinar we're going to do in the future. So that webinar is going to be specifically about some CAPEX parameters. The date is April 11th. The time is at 11 a.m. Eastern, just like this morning. And what we're going to do for that half hour is give you a really brief summary of some of the areas of improvement that we're still considering based on this recent survey we did of past and present CAPEX users. That'll probably be about 5 minutes or so, but I think it'd be useful for everybody to see what we're thinking about in the future. And then second is a deep dive on some of the parameters that are collected in CAPEX that are going to be done by Don Roberts. So this is one of the popular improvement areas that was called out in the survey. People want to understand how to use the data that's collected in CAPEX and or calculated from CAPEX data. So Don's been gracious enough to pick a few parameters and give us a deep dive on that. So then I was also asked to mention a couple of other seminars that are coming up. So there's a 7th in a series that's going to be on March 26th, a couple of weeks from now, with Nick Setchell presenting on J-curve management. So that's the 7th in a series of a lot of financial analysis types of things. Finally, also, if you haven't registered for CSA conference, April 23 through 26 in San Diego, better do that. I hear it's actually going really well, and if you're stalling because you're just being procrastinating, don't, because I bet that the rooms are in the hotel are probably going pretty quickly. And then finally, too, I was asked to mention that just prior to the conference, there's a CSA Sandler Sales program. So Sandler Sales is a pretty popular sales program. CSA has been able to offer discounts to that program for CSA members. And so if you're interested, sign up for that, too.
Yeah, Jim, the dates on the slides are not correct. So.
And I'm apologizing for that.
Oh, yeah, that's right. They aren't.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the conference is not May 1st. It's actually April 23 through 26. So, yep, thanks for pointing that out, Don. And so finally, if there's no other questions, which there appears not to be, I'll say this is Jim Campbell. Thanks for attending, and until next seminar on April 11th, we'll talk to you then. Thanks, everyone.
And I have